Welcome to another edition to Proverbs of Profit.
So obviously it's always me and my sister. How you doing, man?
I'm fresh, dog. I'm fresh, winner.
I'm straight. So in today's episode, we're talking about crowdfunding and Stokvels and its importance, right? So, these two are different, and I want to speak about them in a very similar way as kind of like going over each other, because it's almost as equally important in order for us to obviously go to the route which we're trying to go, which is financial freedom, right? So yeah, crowdfunding, Stokvels, just
the main reason also we decided to speak about this, ne, is because practically we honestly started this because we want people to really look into investing and also really start investing, right? But it's also understanding the practicality of investing for our people, especially because we young people, ne? The reality is the fact that many of us don't really work. Many of young people actually do not work. So it's understanding it might not be practical or realistic for us to expect you guys to start investing 1,000 rand a month type of situation, right? But things like crowdfunding or Stokvels, these are things that that's already there. It's a proven concept. These are things that we can utilize to actually start. I feel like the one thing that would kind of get you so interested in investing is starting more than talking about it, right? So it's utilizing crowdfunding, it's utilizing Stokvels to actually start raising capital in a sense, so that we can actually utilize this for investing, right? So this is why we actually are focusing on crowdfunding and Stokvels. It's just making sure people understand there's practical ways of starting, because it's difficult to kind of speak to people in a sense to utilize your income, because a lot of us don't have that. Fortunately, I can try and balance that, but also not the amount that I want to invest though. So I understand for me to be able to actually get there quicker, I need to collaborate, and that's what crowdfunding and Stokvels kind of promotes. It's collaboration. And it's like you said, we're gonna talk about them in a more or less similar way, because honestly it's it's similar. So starting a crowdfunding for me, let me just start about crowdfunding. In crowdfunding, what essentially in the simplest form is like a group of people coming together to raise capital. Simply, that's just that. I come with 100 rands, you come with 100 rands. Our other friends come with 100 rands, they pull through, we all collaborate, it's 100 rand each. Now, if there's 10 of us, bro, we have 1,000 now. So we can utilize 1,000. So we can utilize 1,000 rands per investment, because there's 10 people coming together, donating 100. It's 1,000. We know how to use this. Okay, we're investing in this. Or this month is going to you. This month is going to you. But essentially, it's actually coming together, raising capital for a particular purpose, if we're in this instance investing. I always say this, man, the importance of collaborating. It is important for us to understand it's not practical for us to believe we can tackle investing on our own, because again it goes back to the reality. 60% of youth, particularly in South Africa, is unemployed. You get what I'm saying? So it's just understanding okay, in majority so in us not working, how do we utilize to actually start something though? Because I feel like I don't want us to jump into the importance of investing and start throwing out investment information out there without actually tackling things that can raise money for investing. So it's collaboration. I feel like you should not start anything that's kind of going towards the financial freedom part on your own. Don't start a business on your own. Don't start investing on your own, because it's not practical for us. For a majority of young people, it's just unrealistic. So crowdfunding literally helps with that. The benefits of the crowdfunding, it's literally the fact that you have access to capital. Instead of me investing like a 100 rands, I can literally get, again, we can come together, and I have 1,000 or we have 1,000 to utilize and leverage. It's raising capital. It's kind of hedging risk, because instead of me taking my own 1,000 rands and actually putting it into something, if like, because in investing in anything that you do with money, especially, we also we need to actually understand there's risk in investing generally. You must think of the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario, since your money is gone. You invest in a bad company, or invest in a bad cryptocurrency. Like, you invest in something that's not successful, right? The worst thing that happened is that you lost 100 rands. Whereas if you were to lose 1,000 rands, you would be sick to your stomach. Because again, for many of us, 1,000 rands is bank. Like, it's money. So that's why I feel like crowdfunding is something that we should literally take into consideration and understand the importance of it. Access to funding, access to actually hedging risk. Also, I'm speaking for young people in particular. You probably are not going to get a credit for 50,000 or 10,000, because a lot of us kind of are going in school, or like our schooling. Other people have never had a job or anything of that matter. So we told a credit card for 50,000, 10,000. You get what I'm saying? So, and it's super difficult going to the traditional ways of actually trying to attain capital, like loans, credit cards. It's not going to be easy for us. So it's kind of just crowdfunding. For me, why I feel like it's super important is the fact that it promotes the do for self mentality. I don't think we understand the power that we have in actually, when we actually come together, because it doesn't help me waiting for a bank to approve a loan when maybe I've been only working for 3 months. You get what I'm saying? But I understand through crowdfunding, I can do for self. Collaboration, that's where collaboration helps. Like I'm saying, don't start anything on your own. Especially if you're young, bro, you still have enough time to make mistakes. You still have enough time to actually learn from each other, utilize funds together. Do not start anything on your own. So collaboration literally promotes the idea of doing for self. Do for yourself. Utilize the little that you have to actually have a bit more, risk a bit more, and you're also getting your feet wet with not too much money. Yeah, so that's why I feel like crowdfunding is something that, especially because we already utilize these things. We already are in crowdfunding setups, in terms of like, we are where literally every month mhlawumbe sisifaka a certain amount of money, and it goes to Spanban. You get what I'm saying? So that is a form of crowdfunding, because we are raising capital to help this person this particular month. But also, just I want us to think about this in a investment perspective. Which let's do like, think about this with your group of friends. For investing. You know your friends that are reliable, that you can trust in, and actually staying up to, like, making sure they stand by their word. But you know your people that can actually come together, put money in, but we're still sharing information. These are things that we need to understand, which we already have big business ways. It's just that we need to utilize them in that sense. That's why crowdfunding for me is something that I feel like it's super important to just start with that before we start kind of shining a light on investing. Which, oh man, look into the JSE, look into the New York Stock Exchange. First, start with how people are actually gonna have the money to put in the stock market, have the money to put into crypto, have the money to maybe find an account if you're a trader, right? It's first tackling the fact that, okay, from our current position, what do we have? And unfortunately, we only have ourselves. That's the most practical way. That's the easiest way. Doing for self. So collaborate, guys. Like I really want to emphasize the fact, Guti, I don't want you guys to look at this as entertainment or something like, okay, you guys might know us or know P or know me personally, but I want people to really take this serious, because we're starting this from a very, like, from a very passionate place, because we understand where it could put us. But again, collaborate with your people. You know the people that you trust. You know the people that can stand by their word. Collaborate, crowdfund, because I feel like monga we bigger in a sense you go to Mholswane, people might downgrade that. Okay, sfaga gigama listening, say crowdfunding. We are crowdfunding for this, investing. Yabo. So crowdfunding for you, boy. Like, what, is there anything you want to add on to that?
Like I just want to start like where like we was like having a conversation and around like why some like Proverbs of Prophet was like built, and we're just sitting there like just trying to strategize, like writing, like planning for episodes ahead, like what to talk about, and the essence of why we exist, obviously to share information, blah blah, all these airy fairy things that sound cool on paper, is essentially it's asking ourselves, the both of us, how do we put money in people's pockets for free? How do we put money in people's pockets? And it's about like all these ways we could look, share, and talk about, and things like crowdfunding, things like Stokvel. When you look at how collectively we exist at a certain place, when you look at how collectively you go to an entire community, and just look at a community in its entirety, and just the majority of the people existing in a third world. Like going into communities and seeing how people are just okay with being okay, right? So the reason why we speak about these things essentially is to get to how do people put money in people's pockets, and there's never been a time in society where that has happened without people doing for self. But what does do for self mean? Because it might seem as if it's contradicting to don't start something alone and do for self. That might sound as if like it's something that's clashing.
Yeah.
Doing for self is not doing by yourself, right? Doing for self is just simply not looking to the government as provider and maker, as God, so to say. Doing for self is saying, hey, look, my financial situation, my financial future is in my hands. That's what doing yourself means. And it's different from do by yourself. You can do by yourself, and nothing wrong with that. But when you look at the situations we're in as a country, when you look at businesses that were massive also, it doesn't seem like it was one person who said, I'm gonna do this by myself. Nah. It was a group of people who came together. And that's what over and over it seems like organizations that strive and survive and go through and become timeless organizations that have been built through people who think alike and want something alike, who came together. That's why we're trying to come together and speak about things like crowdfunding. That's why we exist. That's why things even like Stokvel, something which I want to talk about right now, is also incredibly important. Goba, particularly in a country, Stokvels are massive, right? Believe it or not, it is a $50 billion industry, 50 billion rand industry. That's 3 billion, right? It is a 50 billion rand industry. But what are we using it for? First thing that comes to your mind, obviously, is for groceries in the festive season. That's what we use it for groceries. So we take this massive industry, which is like 50 billion rands. It all goes to ShopRite. It all goes to Checkers. It all goes to Pick and Pay. But does that show you one thing, man? It does mean that black people and black money has power.
Facts.
50 billion in just one industry is not child's play, man. It does seem then what's known, man. When people come together, they make something massive. They make something big. But then, as we step and look into the numbers, you realize, wait a second, man. All this money is going to freaking retail stores, right? But also in the same breath, now banks are also trying to chime in this I was also trying to like land grab this massive opportunity in Stokvels. Off the 50 million, 12 off the 50 billion, 12 of those billions are now being taken by banks, and they obviously want more and more and more. So there's power in it. There's power in collaboration. There's power in coming together. But then again, now it's like, okay, cool. We've seen this power. Obviously, the numbers don't lie. But are we using it to its full extent? Are we using the capacity of what we then have now? I obviously don't think so. If we use it to buy groceries, if we use it to buy children's stationery at the beginning of the year and the uniform, which is good, we use it to pay debt. All of these things are good. Don't get me wrong, man. But how then does these things affect us in 5 years? Essentially, creating or working towards financial freedom is something that we do now. It's going to impact our future.
Facts.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
We sow and we reap. You feel me? So like what we have been doing a lot is paying these debts and buying these groceries and doing all the things which are good. But like now, what are the opportunities that are connected to Stokvels? Should we then not collaborate to buy stocks? Should we then not collaborate to come together and say, look, we're gonna come together, guys, and we're gonna buy a property.
Bro.
You feel me? We're gonna buy a property, man. And these are things that are very possible. And like in our conversation and talking, man, like we're thinking, man, look, how about we really look into it and because there's opportunity. There's opportunity for us to escape this race of life of retiring at 60. Most of us don't even have to retire because we didn't even have the job in the first place.
Bro.
Now what's been happening recently, even the retirement money has been stolen from people. So now,
it's
bruh,
gone.
you feel
Gone.
me? So now it's like, okay, cool, then how do we come together? Literally possible just through friends.
Mm-hmm.
Just as she was like mentioning, Woodsy, mates can just come together and say, look guys, $100 to each and every one of us every month. We'll see what happens in 6 months. Not because we're saving together to go book a house and then drink, which is something that we do. No judgments to you, but we definitely do need a new way of thinking. We definitely need to put a lot less of effort and just trying to celebrate. Why are we celebrating?
Bruh.
Feel me? So it's incredibly important. It obviously incredibly has massive opportunities. I was looking at a Stokvel investment in properties. People buying each other houses through Stokvels. People buying each other houses, people buying properties and then making money together. All these things are possible, man. And it's all obviously up to us to then say, look, I want to take control. We want to do for self. We want to come together, put money, and do things for ourselves and for our future, for our children, so that we can then move forward, just like other communities are moving forward. So like those are the importances, those are the uses of Stokvel and how far we can go. And like one of the final things that I want to say is possible. It is possible. Like it is possible for me and you to participate. It is possible for me and you to take part in it. And I think as we like were doing research for this particular episode, man, we was like, we gotta do something. Like we got to do something to put money in these people's pockets and like literally make sure that it happens and build a community that actually comes together and does something, man. So it's for sure something we're gonna look into, but you know the people you trust. And I know how skeptical people are, man. You know how many people have lost money? My father personally has lost a whole lot of money through Stokvels, been robbed before. But with the technology that we have right now, with the control that we have right now, the facilities that we have right now, probably even through the banking systems that have a lot of people which people don't want, but even through those situations, I know it's possible, guys. So if there's anything from this episode, from my side, it's like, really think about it. Really imagine it. Really imagine yourself owning an asset that brings you money. Because eventually it's about that. A lot of us are stuck in jobs we don't want because we don't know and we don't even think that it would be possible to do stuff for not just for groceries, but for actually having money to then have control of our time. Do you have
Yeah, I actually like everything that you said so far. I don't even want to like, because it kind of already speaks to what I've always understood about the Stokvela Wutsina. To be honest, as Odak in particular, we already have big money plays. I don't want to say plays particularly, but we already have big money concepts, right? Because the Stokvela is nothing less or nothing more than a bank. It's literally, I think it's even how we look at things, because that is a big money, like that's what banks do, right? They take money from different people, they take that money and then they utilize it. And for instance, we only think of Stokvela like as an informal saving pool, right? So it's okay, we'll put money together, figi festive, ziakala, we get chickens, we get groceries, we get meats, none, okay, clean. I think even saying it's a 50 billion rand action opportunity, people should understand how powerful collaboration is. So we can literally utilize this instead of it going to these, because we're putting money together and then again we're putting it let's say Boxer in other facilities like retail shops. So Grenani doesn't necessarily help us in any way because of how we look at it. We don't understand it, which we already have big money concepts, but it's just our mentality towards it. That alone proves the power of like Iran. That alone proves the power. Okay, no, if we collaborate, more can be done. Like you said, we can literally invest in properties. We can invest in stocks. We can literally, because I was speaking to my aunt and she was telling me about this Stokvela that I wasn't in and I'm listening to the amount of money that they're spending, and I was calculating. I was like, bro, if my family understood Uguti, they would be like that. You and your family can become your own bank. You can put money into, like, decide as a family, it's okay, let's become our own bank. Because the Stokvela that they're playing, the person that's in charge of Stokvela can also lend other people money. Ezalayo, which is what banks do. That's how banks make their money. They take the money that everyone puts in, they utilize this money and they leverage this money to make more money through lending. Right? And when it comes back with the interest, obviously, it says like a profit from that. I was thinking, if only my family was thinking the way that I'm thinking, in the sense of okay, we could have literally created our own bank. We could have lent other family members during the year. Babu Isimali, we're creating our own banking system, like doing for self. Being understanding, you can literally become your own bank. You and your group of friends, you and your family. You can become your own bank. That is what Stokvela is. It's literally a bank, but because of the fact that we look at it as an informal saving pool, we won't think of its capacity and the money that's being made as Stokvela. Like you said, banks are even dipping in because they've understood a lot of things that black people do in particular are big money concepts. And it could literally teach people how to run businesses, how to run something as a bank, because I feel like there's so much power with Stokvela and we don't even like shine a light on it. The only thing we think about when it comes to Stokvela, it's festive season situations. We okay, let's put together on the 16th of December, on the 27th, we're going to Spooky Hotel. Bro, these are big money concepts. It's us understanding that more than, I feel like mentality for us needs to be something that we really check. What's it, bro? Like, we have big money concepts to a point where I'm like, bro, this is sad. With even people that never really understood Stokvela, like people, because Stokvels, to be honest, it's literally it's prominent in black families, right? I want to like people like that run IABSA or Capitac or FNB or Standard Bank. I think Standard Bank is the popular one, and Capitac actually. Those are the popular bank Stokvels out there. Standard Bank and Capitac, I mean. They see the fact to no, man, this is exactly what we do it, but let's us just use this word so that it kind of drives people to give us more money. So Stokvel crowdfunding, these are big money concepts that the minute we start looking at it in the right perspective, it will literally be something that we leverage to kind of somewhat go ahead. Ukucathula nje kancane kancane, because I feel like just changing our mentality alone will put us so far. So far. Because the same way, especially our peers are able to actually come together, sihlanganise plan yange weekend, we can probably come together, sihlanganise plan yange month end, ukuthi okay investa kanjani. Same way. I'm not saying ukuthi mfethu ungaphuze emhlabeni. That's a use type of situation. But I'm just saying ukuthi if you are, I've come to understand ukuthi I don't necessarily, my take on life doesn't necessarily speak to everyone, bro. In a sense, if you honestly, there are people that really just don't want financial freedom. They think they do, but they don't. If you really are in a position where I'm like, bro, honestly, I don't want to live like this anymore. Or I want to do something better with the rands that I have. These are concepts that we should be looking into. Instead of, again, like crying to the government. In actual facts, this is something that we need to kind of really understand. I don't want to lie to you, bro. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. The government is not going to save you. Your mayor again is not going to save you. Your uncles are not going to save you. It's a you type of situation, and you need to start understanding that and start gravitating towards people actually that think the same way that you. If you want to really attain financial freedom, these are things that you should look into. It's okay. Because we always cry. I feel like we always cry about the fact of so yeah, I hear, because I have conversations a lot with people. This is one thing that I just speak about my entire life. This, if you I'm on a Monday, on a Thursday, on a Saturday, on a Sunday, same thing. You will hear me speak about financial freedom, economics, right? So I have these conversations with people, and I'm so fed up of the term we don't, like, I hear you talking about investment, but we don't have that type of, I'm like, bro, but izolo ngikwazi ukuhlanganisa like 1,000, bro. To do something, to go hang in a park, to buy a couple of situations. I'm not saying anything pussy, bro. Do whatever you need to, like whatever it is that you do, but also keep that at the back of your mind. What's in fits? Okay, maybe not 1,000. Let's go 500 maybe, and take the other 500. So we know how to make a plan. Crowdfunding, Stokvels are a concept that kind of drives people to do for self and stop complaining. So like you said, we had this conversation, instead of only, like, again, jumping to the conversations of now guys, invest in the JSE. How do we then kind of inspire people to, like, literally have money in their pockets? How do we make people aware of different ways to actually utilize where they currently are, to be able to invest, to be able to look into these different asset classes? And this one, I feel like, is the easiest and the most practical for each, like in particular. No? Yeah, that's what I wanted to add. We already have big money concepts. We already have big money concepts. It's just utilizing the fact that it's okay. This is there, but how do we make this work? Which is also something that we're literally are starting on accountability in a sense. This is something that we are looking into.
Sure.
Yeah, well, Leon, this is also what we're holding ourselves accountable to. What's about it? We can't. Okay, yes, but I also am kind of having to help England. Yeah, so I also do need that kind of assistance, and also just being around people that want what I want. So it keeps me accountable. Yeah, so yeah, big money concept already there. Utilize this.
Like, also, like, lastly, like I also listen to like 19 Keys, right? Go check out 19 Keys, the content creator. Speaks around these things. Same thing we speak about like for America, but like he speaks a lot about how like school, I don't have a problem with school, has taught us a lot about how to like hide your work, right? And not collaborate. Like it's just there, like we hide our work, just hide your work so that you can pass. So like at the top of the class, and that's good. But like for where we are and where we're going, we will get there if we come together. We will get there if we say, hey, look, man, I can afford 50 rands a month. And somebody like, hey, look, it's cool. I can afford $100 a month. But let's just keep coming together and doing all these things together. And that's essentially and always where it works, coming together. So come together, guys. Never underestimate that power and the folk and as you focus as a group of people, if you want to do it with your friends, classmates, or whatever, churchmates, anything, like as long as you guys have that goal and have that commitment, it's incredibly possible. 50 billion rands, don't forget that. It is possible, right? So yeah, I think that's the end of the episode, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So like, yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It helps so much to share this. It helps us a lot to subscribe. Helps us a lot to
like
and be active. Like just like let's do this, right? Like let's do this. Let's learn. Let's share information. Because at the end of the day, in child of it, that's what we're trying to do. Song. So yeah, man. Thank you so much, and take care, everybody. Bye bye.